What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Let's Play Europa Universalis 4 with our Russian imperialistic campaign. And obviously we are continuing on the Muscovite reconquest of Velsk. We have declared war on Novgorod, and we have already taken our war goal, which now means all we really need to do is, just continue on. We've taken our war goal. Ticking war score is going to increase as long as the war continues on. And of course, the Novgorodians had an alliance, or better yet, a trade partnership with Odoyev. And of course, they have called them in, and we have absolutely annihilated the very small province of 9 development Oka. And the entire idea is I'm going to remove them from the map, add them to the country of Muscovy, and I believe in 1454 we're going to try to begin our annexation of either Rostov or Perm and continue on our way. It looks like I see 12,000 troops here. This makes me a little nervous, so let's bring these 11,000 closer to our 6,000. And I don't plan on doing any actual aggression until I have dealt with Odoyev. I could obviously move into other provinces like Woods provinces, or I guess that's all we really have, woods and forest. As you go throughout different areas, you'll get mountains and hills and rugged terrain. And it'll give your troops some very nice defensive stats, but if you were to attack into those provinces, it would be quite dangerous. Let's move all of these troops over to Novgorod, siege down their capital. These units will move into the woods. And I'm going to try to have my vassals wither away and do some damage against the enemy troops. Obviously, all of my vassals are going to get, basically annihilated. Ooh, comet sighted. This is a negative event. We're going to lose a stability, and we are at 0 stability, so we're going to go to -1, which is horrible. But the idea is, don't get me wrong, my vassals are nice and useful, but they're not, I don't want them to grow too powerful. So this is going to sound bad, but they're doing their job. It might not be as efficient as I'd like it to be, but they are weakening Novgorod and removing their manpower. They might not seem like a big deal on the battlefield, but behind the scenes, they're losing a lot of reserves. Okay, I have 473 administrative power. I want to go from -1 to +1, so now we're going from -1 to 0, and then to +1. Now, the reason why we want to do that is we're going to gain some national unrest reduction, so that means less of a chance for rebels to spawn. We're going to gain some yearly corruption reduction. Missionary strength is very important, and obviously a lot of other bonuses as well. Okay, taking a quick glance, Novgorod needs more troops to begin the siege, even though it says they only need 3, and we have 6,000. I don't know why. Oh, we need 9. Okay, we need 9,000, and now we have 13. I'm going to move you here. Unfortunately, it is going to be a few months until Novgorod falls. I've got a free diplomat. Let's send somebody over, improve relations with our vassals, and I think that's what we're going to try to do. And the administrative ideas of Nasta. Let's gain some 50 administrative power. Awesome. I absolutely like that. 423 coins. We're actually making money despite being in a war, which is very odd. And I think I am absolutely going to enjoy that. It's very dangerous to split 2 units at once. And you know what? I was going to try it anyway, but let's just play it safe. The last thing I want to do is get attacked. And there goes a lot of my vassals. They're getting absolutely annihilated, which I don't mind. Could I respond to this situation? Yes, I can, but it's going to take a while. I don't think we're going to be able to respond in time. We already have a ticking war score, don't get me wrong, so all we got to do is wait. Novgorod is obviously ticking in our favor, and we have popular religion. Campaign against syncretism. We would get tolerance of the true faith. The clergy would like us a lot, and they would get some influence. Or we could get missionary strength, which is what I need, but I would lose loyalty and influence. So let's go ahead and attempt to root out syncretism. Tolerance of the true faith basically means if you're already Orthodox, you get more of a negative unrest penalty. So you don't get unrest, which ultimately you weren't going to get unrest anyway because it's obviously the correct religion, but it does help you out in time, which is kind of cool. And some of the reasons like that might happen is eventually, let's say there's a plague or the obscurantism or something like that, and it basically ensures that your country is basically standing together and not divided. Alright, I don't want to lose this war goal, and they're getting closer and closer to Velsk. Unfortunately, Novgorod still has not fallen, but we're at 33% war score right now. I'm probably going to try to annihilate... Ooh, they're going after me. We are essentially going to have a -1 terrain penalty, because even though they're attacking me, they actually own the city, so technically it actually means we're attacking them still, because we're doing the siege. I'm going to wait until these units are forced to lock in. There is the movement locked. I'm going to respond to the situation. We have a -1 modifier, which is bad, but we have a lot more troops than they do, or at least we should. This is looking dangerous. We better win that fight. What?! How is that possible? Obviously, it's because we didn't invest in the new technology, which is what we should have done. They have military technology of 4. We have military technology of 4 now, because we obviously just did that. Let's swing back over to Novgorod. I'm very upset that we lost that battle. However, we are winning the war. We have the reclaimed war goal here. Man, now we gotta siege down this province again. That's sad. I might even go... I kind of want to just speed up this game, but at the same time, it's probably not a good idea. Are we anywhere near 25 ticking war score? No, we have 9.6. So the score will eventually cap out, but we do have a long time. Man, there went all of our manpower. And actually, sieging down with this many troops is dangerous, so let's not do that. Not dangerous, but we're obviously wasting manpower and reserves due to disease and attrition, and we don't want that. Okay, slow and steady wins the race. After this war, we're going to have to do a lot of rebuilding. And it's going to be a little dangerous as well. We're also going to have a bunch of countries that are going to hate us, because not only did we're going to take Odoyev. Let's actually take it now. Ooh, don't have a diplomat. Not only did we take Ryazan, we actually took Tiver as well, and Odoyev. So we're really upsetting the balance of power, and a lot of countries are going to be upset. Now we're at 21% chance of surrender. We went from -57 to positive 21. That was very quick. I'm guessing it's because they have so little troops. I think they have the ability to have up to 9,000. Maybe it's 3,000. I don't know. But anyway, 41% war score. We haven't really done anything except lost 10,000 troops. And now, once these units lock in, we are going to respond to this threat. The enemy is going to have a -1 penalty. We are going to respond. They have a -1 terrain. Here we go. We can easily wipe them out. 87% war score. Can we end the war now? I'm going to take as much land as I can, which isn't much. Ooh, let's take Odoyev first, because that's my primary goal. All we're going to do is get a white peace, so we're going to pay 50% more administrative power, and obviously, I think it's aggressive expansion as well, with a white peace, or a separate peace, excuse me, not white peace, a separate peace with this country. And it looks like Odoyev is going to be upset in joining a coalition against us, but they don't exist anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. We're going to take all of their money, and we are only negotiating with them. And now they are out of the war, and finally we have another diplomat. What can we take without getting people too upset? I obviously want to take Neva, which will eventually be St. Petersburg. And what's cool is now that we have access to the Baltic Sea, we're going to eventually accumulate sailors at a very slow rate. And much like our actual manpower, sailors will help us rebuild the navy. This is what I'm going to take. 71 aggressive expansion. The only country that's really going to hate me is Novgorod. And I'm wondering if I'm going to have enough administrative power to deal with these issues. I don't know. But basically, removing this threat will ensure that the Livonian Order doesn't take any land, Lithuania doesn't take any land, and the only other country that could really take land would be Sweden. But I'm going to try to do a little bit of political maneuvering. It might not work, it might. I'm going to try to get them to like me, which they do like me now, but maybe like me enough to I can support their independence from Denmark. I have no idea if it'll work, but we could obviously try. And we are, now what are we doing? I think we're waiting. -14. Can I also take all their money? No. -1048 reasons. I don't think I could take any money at all, so I don't think I'll worry about that. Let's send up some troops, annihilate these 1,000, and siege down some land. And after this war, I'm going to immediately begin the annexation of potentially 2 countries at once. I don't know how well that will work. I'm going to try to annex Rostov and Perm. You're usually supposed to annex once at a time. But we're going to try and see what happens. Let's move these units back to Moscow because I am ultimately out of manpower. Ooh! Livonian Order coming on in and kicking them down. Kicking them while they're down. Yikes. Can I take all of this land? Yes, I can. I want to take some money, but it doesn't look like it's possible. And there we have it, ending our war with Novgorod. Did we gain enough prestige? No, we did not. But now we have almost 0 manpower, which is absolutely incredibly dangerous. And let's begin our annexation of Rostov, if we can. Somewhere, influence, annex vassal. And I also want to begin the annexation of Perm. Now, one of my biggest issues that I just said is I only have 375 manpower, which isn't just dangerous, it's irresponsible. I don't have negative manpower, which isn't bad. But right now we're taking attrition, running through the forest. It's not necessarily... Oh, I guess it is still snowy, as you can see from our terrain map mode. But all I really want to do is regain my manpower. Let's finally... If we wait another month, the war exhaustion will tick down a little bit. The more war exhaustion you have, the more these cores will cost. So I think I'm going to wait about 5 months... And then we're going to basically get a smaller reduction with war exhaustion. It looks like a military access from Livonian Order, no thank you. And we've got a lot of troops with full army maintenance, which I don't really want to pay for. But I'm a little scared that I might be kicked while I'm down. Every month that goes by, we're getting some administrative power. And it looks like we have the miracle of life. The birth of a new baby revitalizes the people of Muscovy, losing 2 war exhaustion. I absolutely needed that. What perfect timing. And now, I might even just wait 3 more months. I usually never do this, but I'm trying to squeeze out as much administrative power as I could possibly get my hands on. Now, the longer I wait and I don't core these areas, unfortunately, I think they are going to be spawning rebels, and I don't know if there's really anything I can do about that. But I'm obviously going to try. I'm going to wait 1 more month. And now, all of these areas take anywhere between 16 to 18 months to core. And we see some rebels, but let's go ahead and try to save a little bit of money on forts. I want to save, I'm not going to go down to 5%. I think I'm going to go down to about 60%. I want to centralize my troops because if I do get attacked, I obviously want to be able to run away and also try to gain some, not only manpower, but some morale as well. So as you can see, we've taken a bunch of territory, and some countries aren't really, some countries like Novgorod are very, very upset. Lithuania does have the ability to join a coalition against me, which is really dangerous. So I think what I'm going to do is start working on the annexation of a variety of countries. But I think I'm also going to do a few other things as well. Potentially, once I actually annex both of these countries, Rostov will be any moment now. We're working on Perm. Maybe instead of conquering nations, if I did declare war on Lithuania, maybe I'll release some nations, maybe like Kiev or potentially a nation like Smolensk. And we actually, if we release nations, we're seen as a liberator. And we don't gain any aggressive expansion. So we will grow through the pen rather than the sword. But basically what will happen... Ooh, see, it looks like a nation's already been released. I don't think I've seen that this early. The Teutonic Order won against Poland? What? This is literally going to be a crazy game. Poland usually always wins. And they eventually join up with Lithuania to make one massive country known as the Commonwealth. That's odd. Alright, integrating of Rostov. We now no longer have the nation of Rostov as a vassal. We've taken all of their troops, all of their money. But integration is a slow process, so the autonomy will tick away in time, and we've gained some prestige. And it looks like we're still working on the annexation of Perm, which is nice. And what's cool is we had 24,000 troops, and now we have 28,000 from these 4,000 additional. But basically, like I said, one of my biggest concerns is I'm low on manpower. And I am going to be declaring war on Novgorod again, but not until our truce is over. 1469, that's 14 years away. That's kind of far. Merchants defect, 1 mercantilism, but also losing some trade power. But that's the 1 mercantilism is permanent, while the temporary trade power is for a decade. Ooh. But at the cost of losing a trade power, losing 1 mercantilism. The idea of mercantilism is basically, if you look at the trade map mode, every single province that you have trade value in, mercantilism improves that. So basically, I have 53% trade value here, 3% here, 33%. 1 mercantilism isn't that much, but because it's permanent, it will grow over time. I think you can have up to about 100 mercantilism, which will give you, I could be absolutely wrong, but I believe it's about 100 mercantilism will give you 200 trade power. Not sure, but I think that's how it works. I have some money. I could build some churches. Churches give you some taxation. Don't think I'm going to do that just yet. Well, you know what? 0.2 ducats every single turn is not bad. It would pay for itself very quickly. But obviously some provinces, you know, this has very little development all the way out in Siberia or the Urals. I don't think we really need a church there. I'm still watching these rebels. As time goes on, we are obviously working on setting up all of those new administrative governments. This is going to drastically tick away at a lot of these rebels. So 7% unrest. Any second now, it's probably going to drop down to about 6 or 5. 2 of a kind. This advisor is 50% cheaper for your country, or gain 50 admin. I am obviously going to gain 50 administrative power. This is the guy that slept with my wife. And instead of executing the advisor, I accidentally executed my wife. But I think that's funny. Let's gain the 50 admin, because I definitely don't need a production efficiency advisor. Though I don't necessarily need a philosopher either. But I think it's fine. I don't really want to spend money if I don't need to. There goes all of our cores. They went from negative 7 unrest to negative 4.2. Still pretty dangerous, but not as dangerous as before. I'm waiting for all of these rebels to dissipate over time. I absolutely need to kill my king, so I'm going to make my actual king right now into a general. I'm going to have him lead some armies. He might die, he might not, but it looks like my heir is a fierce negotiator, minus 25% with mercenary maintenance. I don't think I'm really going to be using mercenaries too much, but if I ever do, that would be very, very useful. Okay, still waiting on a lot of manpower to basically come back. I can invest in new technology, and as you can see, because we haven't embraced the Renaissance, we now have a 6% penalty. Are we anywhere near? We haven't even started. Not a single province has actually been converted to the Renaissance, so therefore we can't make our entire country embrace the Renaissance if it's obviously hasn't been embraced in a single province yet. So we're working on it in some of these larger cities, but it is going to take a little bit of time. I guess let's unlock the temples. And my entire goal is to unlock national ideas. And I think what I'm going to do is either get influence ideas, because it allows us to have more vassals, and it allows us to tax our vassals. And what's really kind of neat is it allows us to annex them more efficiently, and we can basically have aggressive expansion impact reduction, which essentially means less coalitions are able to form. That's probably what we're going to start with. Economic ideas would be nice, always having money. Humanist ideas would be nice, never dealing with rebels, meaning you always have manpower. It works, you know, and, you know, never having to deal with rebels or dealing with a lot less rebels will make our lives significantly better. I don't know. 27th of January, 1458. I have basically removed some threats, and we have grown so strong that our previous rivals are no longer significant. Let's go ahead and make Denmark into a rival, and let's go ahead and make Kazan into a rival. Now I'm 70% stronger than Kazan, but they are a different religion, and I don't know how I feel about that. I would like to vassalize them. I don't know how well that'll work in my favor. Okay, I see they have rebels of their own, Permian separatists. It would be kind of fun to fight on the side of the rebels, which you actually can do. But without further ado, I think I am going to go ahead and host a jousting tournament. I'm going to gain some, wow, 10% morale for the next 20 years. I'm going to have better generals and yearly prestige. Absolutely at the cost of admin, some splendor, and some ducats. But gonna do that, and I am going to go ahead and end this episode here. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I will see you in our next adventure.